In education, culture can play a significant role in the classroom. Students can, and often do, come from varied backgrounds that can be much different than any the teacher has ever experienced. These cultural differences can impact the way the teacher and students communicate with each other, how safe and welcome the students feel in the classroom, and how English language learners learn English. While this can be daunting for new teachers, an effective teacher will learn to use these cultural differences to their advantage. According to an article by Shamika Moore for TeacherHub.com, quote, cultural competence focuses on the ability to successfully teach students who come from cultures from other than their own. End quote. Teachers who teach English language learners are going to be tasked with educating students who come from very different cultural backgrounds. English language teachers must be prepared to educate themselves about these cultures and how they can impact the students' education. Teachers must be open-minded and be more than just experts in the content they are teaching. They should understand how their students' cultural backgrounds influences the way they learn and communicate. Teachers should find ways to incorporate these cultural influences into the classroom as often as possible. According to an article by Understood.com, educators should, quote, be mindful of the different communication styles, patterns, and norms your students may use. Bring a diverse range of poetry, music, or other forms of expression into the classroom on a regular basis. End quote. To identify what changes should be made to incorporate aspects of a student's cultural identity into the classroom, the teacher must establish relationships with the students. By getting to know the students, teachers can better identify how their culture affects their learning and communication. Once they have learned about the students' backgrounds, the teacher should identify ways to celebrate the students' cultural diversity. Teachers should offer students the chance to speak about their culture and backgrounds in class. By embracing open discussion about the subjects, students' cultural diversity will be acknowledged and celebrated. The teacher can celebrate students' culture in other ways, such as playing various forms of music or finding educational videos about their culture. Teachers should also build relationships with their students' families. Teachers who teach English language students will learn a lot about how to better educate their students by getting to know their students' families. Through conversations, they can learn more about the students' home language and how to incorporate it into the English language lessons. The teacher should also take the time to learn more about their students' native language and use it to amplify the students' education. They should incorporate it into lessons and connect the lessons to past knowledge using the students' language. Teachers should be prepared to accommodate the different needs of English language learners, which can be difficult. It is not uncommon for English language learners to have arrived from difficult situations, and not knowing how to speak English in a U.S. school can be stressful. To ensure the students feel safe and welcome, the teacher must be prepared to handle any situation. Teachers should identify and acknowledge students' strengths throughout a lesson. They should design lessons that can reinforce students' strengths. They should also acknowledge students' identities. When students come from different cultures, it can be comforting for the teacher to take the time to correctly pronounce the student's name. The teacher should also differentiate lessons to serve students from all backgrounds. The teacher should use group work to allow students to collaborate with one another. They should also use visual aids to better serve students at a lower English language proficiency level. Using collaborative group work, encouraging classroom conversations on student cultures, learning some of the students' home language are all great ways to help English language learners socialize in the classroom as well. Once a safe and welcoming classroom for English language learners has been established, the teacher should invest time into learning more about their students' cultures and building on their relationships with the students' families. Students and families may be reluctant to share too much about their personal history, but will be more likely to share once trust has been established between them and the teacher. Once the teacher has learned more about the student's culture or funds of knowledge, they should find ways to include it into the lessons. By reinforcing the student's native cultural icons, locations, or events, they can feel more engaged with the lesson and be more likely to learn. The teacher should also find ways to include the family of the students in their child's education. There are many strategies to build relationships with the families of students. A great simple way is through consistent and constant feedback about their child's classwork. Whether it be a phone call, email, or in-person meeting, the families of students should be included in their child's education as often as possible. By updating the families on the students' performance, what they are learning in class, and how they should accomplish their work, the families will be better able to help their child at home. Thank you so much for watching.